Today we're going to be looking at people who are so delusional it's dangerous. Being delusional is quite fitting for me right now because I'm suffering from a cold, and of course I thought it would be a good idea to film. Gen Z worker doesn't show up, surprised she's fired.
I just got fired from my job for being sick. I got hired on March 7th. Somehow I got sick during my interview and I brought home a virus. Told them I wasn't going to be there. I finally get my training done and I'm in the classroom and I get a stomach bug. This is like a week and a half after I got over the cold.
Okay.
At this point, I'm pissing out my ass. So I told them I can't come to work. I'm on the toilet. After the stomach bug, I caught a cold, a head cold. And I mean, these were like back to back to back. There was literally a couple of days in between each of these sicknesses. I have a head cold now and I have a fever. Can't go to work. In between all of this, me getting sick, I had 2 court hearings that I had to be there for. That should have been excused. I finally get over the head cold and I get a chest cold, which I have right now. So then on Tuesday, I called out because I had a fever. I was really sick. I get called to go to HR's office and she terminates me for my attendance.
Yeah. Funny enough, if you get hired to do a job and within the first week and a half you call in sick about 4 or 5 times, you're gonna get the sack. Whenever you start working somewhere, you usually have a probation period. You're given all the training and basically expected to do the job to the best of your ability. Now, if you pull sickies in them and then don't get your work done to the speed they expect it done, they will just terminate your contract. That is what it's like to have a job. Gen Z showing the world why we call them the most entitled generation. Just get a job at McDonald's and put fries in the bag. How do you know that her job wasn't at McDonald's? And also, I don't like this whole thing about shaming people who work at McDonald's. McDonald's is still a job, you know, you can work your way up. Also, I'm pretty sure McDonald's pays a lot higher than certain other jobs which you need degrees for. I also might be a little bit biased because I am from Gen Z, but I can assure you the most entitled people are not from Gen Z, it's from other generations. My generation has to put up with a lot. But who also gets that many sicknesses in the space of 2 weeks? I mean, look, I've got a cold right now. Is it the end of the world? No. Do I feel a bit crappy? Yes. But she got 4 sicknesses back to back to back. Either she has really bad luck or her immune system is shocking. Foreigner in Japan gets upset because they weren't speaking English to him at the convenience store.
This may not aggravate a lot of you, but it does aggravate me since I've been in Japan for so long. It's when they have a foreigner work at a place like this Larson. Now this Larson is one of the worst out of all the places I go to. You walk in as a foreigner, they don't know you, but they start speaking Japanese to you. You speak English to them, and they continue insisting on speaking Japanese.
Because you're in
If you
Japan.
ask them about it, they'll say, oh, Toko wa Nihon, this is Japan. Well, I'm sorry, I just heard you speaking to your co-worker in your language. You don't know that I speak Japanese. Stop it. Speak Japanese to Japanese. So I just had this case with this girl here, and they insist on keep speaking Japanese. Now, in addition to that, there's a line of 3 or 4 people behind us, and I hear her speaking Japanese to them, and her Japanese isn't as bad as mine, but I mean, come on. Speak English to the foreigners, and speak Japanese to the Japanese.
What happens if the foreigners don't speak English?
Like I'm Japanese from the get-go when you don't know who I am. Foreigners walk in, you don't know if I'm a tourist. Treat me like a tourist. Speak English.
If you go to a foreign country and they don't speak English, that's nobody's fault except your own. And also, I'm pretty sure he's living in Japan, so why doesn't he go out of his way to learn Japanese? This whole thing about people like him moving to countries that don't speak English but expect them to speak English is delusional. Like, it's stupid. It's entitlement and delusion. If you've been in Japan for so long, why haven't you made the effort to learn the language? Amy, you're asking very good questions. We all know the answer because he's lazy. He probably does know Japanese and can speak a little bit of Japanese, but he chooses not to. But then on the flip side, if someone from Japan moved to America, would he expect them to speak English in America? I mean, I've always thought if you move to a country that doesn't speak English, you try your best to learn that language. If you're not the best at it, I'm sure they're fine. You can't demand them to constantly speak in English around you. Don't go into another country and expect them to cater to your norms. It doesn't work that way. Japan treated me very well when I was there. They probably do know English as well. You know, a lot of people who are foreign to English countries can speak English because they're intelligent. If you look at kids from other countries, they can speak multiple languages. Usually they can speak Arabic, French, English, and then on our side, the English people can barely speak English. If only children could choose their parents. Colton's circumcision appointment is this Friday. Time to find out what being a boy mum is really about. Ha. Loki hoping he cries and cries and cries. That's what he gets for making mummy fat the past 8 months. Something I have never understood is getting your child circumcised. It's illegal to circumcise a girl, so why do you do it to a boy? I know people do it for religious and cultural reasons. However, a lot of people in America are circumcised. Maybe I'm just not used to it because it's not a massive thing in Northern Ireland or the UK. But like, to me, it just seems really cruel and inhumane to pull back a baby's 4 foreskin and cut it off. It is something that I've never understood. Why would you say that about your own child? Please tell me this is bait. I mean, it probably is bait, however, it does actually happen. You know, kids do get circumcised, and it's something I don't get. Like, I just don't get it. Honestly, in my opinion, it's cruel and it's child abuse. A baby is born and it's got something natural, and you decide to snip it off. Does that not sound utterly insane to anyone else? Woman throws coffee in cashier's face because she didn't hand her change correctly.
I will be reporting your ass. I will. I will. I will. What's the store number? Just give me my change. I ain't got time for this.
Where is this?
I ain't got time. Honey,
Who speaks to someone like that? Well, you're there, you might as well buy some manners.
Show my money. Show my money. Hand me my goddamn money in my hand. I didn't throw it to you. Hand me my money. Hand me my money in my hand. You don't throw no money in me. Hand me my money. I didn't throw it at you. Don't throw it at me. Don't throw it at me. Don't throw it at me. I'm gonna have your job.
Oh, that's assault.
People like that scare me, like they genuinely terrify me. It's the fact that that menace of a woman is walking around this world and throwing coffee in cashiers. In the UK, it's illegal to attack a police officer or a paramedic. You will get in serious trouble for that. Now, it is illegal to attack someone full stop, however, there should be rules for employees. You know, if a customer attacks you for no reason whatsoever, why shouldn't they face 10 years in jail? That woman probably gets paid very, very little and she has to deal with people like that. Is it really worth it? In the States, they seem to make coffee hotter than the center of the sun as well. Hope the cashier didn't suffer any significant injuries. I don't know how hot that coffee was. I don't know if she got it in a different shop beforehand. However, having scalding hot coffee hitting your face is not good. That would permanently injure you. I'm pretty sure it also went all over her face as well. If that went in her eyes, it would blind her. And it's just the fact that the woman threw it over her and then walked out. She walked out without a care in the world. Trump supporter states that Trump is the closest thing to God.
Trump is the closest thing to God.
Trump is the closest thing to God, really?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's what's gonna fix this nation. This nation's corrupt. We're all split. America used to be all together.
Yeah.
Now we're all split up.
Who's to blame for that?
We need to come back together. The only person who's gonna mold us is God first, and then Trump.
God, then Trump.
God, then Trump, absolutely. But if God's not there, Trump's not gonna come out. I'll say that. Kamala comes out, Satan's out, and you better be scared.
So you believe that Trump is picked by God?
I believe so. I believe that Trump is blessed by God. I believe that Trump has come from blessed parents. His parents worked for what they had. His parents made him, molded him to become the person that he is.
But so Trump is selling Bibles for $60.
Okay.
Is that he's profiting off of selling Bibles? Is that a godly thing to do?
Is it a godly thing for the Democrats to be okay with killing their babies? Is that okay?
I guess you answered my question with another question.
Okay.
Just answer this question. Is it a godly thing to do for Trump to be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a business. He's a businessman. That's what this country needs. What do we need?
And if the business is selling the Bible, that's okay?
That's perfectly fine. What are churches doing? When you go to church, don't they ask you for $1? Don't they ask you to do this and that? Churches are businesses. This whole country's a business.
One thing I've noticed about politics is that on both sides there's absolutely insane people. You can never have a rational discussion with people like that. He was talking about Bibles and she's talking about babies dying. Where does that comparison come from? It's pretty insane that delusion has become so mainstream. This country is off its rocker. Even if Kamala wins this election, what the hell are we gonna do about these people? How do we fix them? With people like that, you have to view them as a cult. If they get saved, it would be a blessing. What people like that need is just, you know, education, because they genuinely believe what they believe. I'm gonna guess that she's a Christian, but she's saying Trump is the closest thing to God. Now, I'm not a Christian. I used to go to church whenever I was younger. However, I'm pretty sure that goes against the Bible. Like, no one is comparable to their God. How stupid are these people? I mean, there's just as crazy people on the left. Have you seen some of them videos? But seriously, people like that absolutely terrify me. And it's the fact that, like, she votes, so technically she's got power. She's voting for somebody to be president. If they scanned her brain and compared it to a normal brain, what would it look like? That's something I've always been interested in. Take an absolutely crazy person and compare their brain to a normal person. There has to be holes or worms in it somewhere. Teen tries to intimidate police officer.
What car you in? I ain't in any of these.
Let's go. Then you gotta get out. Let's go.
Nah, I don't gotta go nowhere.
You live here?
Yeah, I live here. You don't gotta.
Okay,
what you walking up on me like that for? What's up?
What's your address?
Take that vest off.
Take that vest off for.
Come on, take that vest off.
Oh, come on, you're like 12.
Let's get it, bro. What's up? What's up? Take that stuff. I live right here. There ain't nothing about it.
What's your address?
Do something about it.
Huh?
How about that? Take your stuff off and do something about it. Like I won't.
Like you what? Like you want what?
I ain't gonna say nothing on that camera.
What
So
are you
I'm
gonna
saying,
do?
take that off.
What are you
Take
gonna
it
do?
off. Let's see.
Let me get your ID.
You ain't gonna get shit. Well, what you laughing for? I'm writing your shit. Take it off.
Yeah, and just like that, you're gonna get arrested.
It's no big deal.
Hey, bro, what's up, man?
Hey, bro. It's all good. I ain't doing
Hey, Joey! What the f***, you let the man go to jail? You big babe, bro. You big babe.
I apologize.
Alright, I accept your apology, but
Seriously.
we didn't have to
No.
take it to this level, man.
I know, I'm sorry. I was just hyped up.
At least he apologized in the end and realized he was in the wrong. However, it should have never escalated to that. I know how I always talk about how I'm scared of people, but I'm scared of people like that. How are you gonna try and square up and intimidate a police officer? If you put that through your mind, what about that is a good idea? What person thinks it would be a good idea to square up to a police officer, be all yippity yappity? They have to know what's gonna happen. Like, surely they have to know they're gonna end up in cuffs. I'm sorry, sir, I was just hyped up, but how'd you get hyped up? Like, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand why he'd ever try to do what he done. If my best friend did that, I certainly wouldn't be crying. I'd be calling him a dumbass. I wouldn't even be there. I'd just ditch you. I'd be like, do you want to do something? If you're gonna act like that, you're not gonna be around me. I'm quite stubborn whenever it comes to people like that. You know, if you're gonna go out of your way to be a menace and just annoy people and just cause trouble, you'll not be in my life. That kid tried to act like a tough guy and ended up getting slammed by the police officer. And then his friend starts crying. Well, anyways, guys, it's really fun video there. That's some delusional people who are genuinely dangerous. It would seem like a more delusional people. Let me definitely will. Subscribe and see you all tomorrow for another video.